Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be tuning in from. Welcome to Principal Ponderings, just an informal conversation between the two co-hosts of Inside the Principal's Office, myself, and of course, my good friend and co-host, Mac. Good morning, Mac. How are you doing?
Let me do. Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing, Charles?
I'm doing great. It takes a little bit of time to get
It
used
does. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right.
Oh, I'm glad that we're able to connect this morning. It is the end of my spring break. I know you had spring break like, what, 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes, I am in the homeward stretch of the year, the downward slope. I think we have about 38 days left, but who's counting?
Ah, nice, nice. Yeah, I think we're at we calculated, I think 10 weeks. 10 weeks when we get back. So we are done mid-June. And we were just informed that our school year, we normally start after Labor Day, but they've actually moved it up into August because they want to really capitalize on the learning loss. And I was like, moving it up a week? I don't know. I mean, it's the same length of the school year. I was like, we're not really okay. Like,
we are getting out the Thursday before Memorial Day.
Okay.
So we are out the end of May. It's been an incredible year for us. A lot of challenges, but I'm so proud of my staff and the parents, just the whole community. I think we've done very, very well this year. The thing that I noticed the most is everyone has given so much grace this year, and what you've always hoped for in a learning community actually became a reality this year. It's just amazing how people shift when you're up against challenges. I think that the challenges that we've had kind of leveled the playing field, and people really began to see each other's intent. A lot of times we communicate and it's a fight between intent and perception. But I think that everybody really saw their others' hearts this year. I've had parents fill up our conference room, literally almost floor to ceiling, with just cases of water because we had to turn the water faucets off without asking, without a hey, this is a need, but just people just seeing a need and just saying, hey, this is our school. All of these are our kids, and so we're going to do what it takes to keep them safe. So it's been great.
Yeah, it is my hope, and I know we've talked a lot about this, of are we going to see this again in the fall, right? Are people going to get comfortable? Are they going to become complacent, and just kind of let it fall off? Or are we going to continue this trend, next school year? And so I know I'm going to try to capitalize on that. I'm sure you are too. So let's hope there. So, you know what, I wanted to ask, and I know we've talked about this briefly in our introductions for the shows. I know you have had an incredible length of time in a principalship. You are a career principal, as you've said, and I know my trajectory has not been normal either. So I just thought maybe we could talk a little bit about that and just kind of how we became, where we are today, that journey.
Excellent. And for those who are watching, this is unscripted. This is just us pondering and talking this morning, spending some time with you. Those of you who've watched the show, we've always been very focused, laser focused, to make sure that, we're giving good content, something that'll help us grow and that you'll grow by watching us grow and interact in the dialogue. So this morning is just about getting to know us getting to know each other, and then for you all to get to know us better. I do say that I'm a career principal because I have been a principal for 2 decades in the principal seat. I'm old. Finally embracing my gray. I went to the barber yesterday. Finally embracing my gray. I have been in the principals. Well, I've been a part of an administrative team for 21 years. I spent 2 years as an assistant principal. This is my 19th year as an elementary principal. So 21 years as an elementary administrator in the state of Texas. Only taught 3 years, 6th grade English language arts. And then my first year, I actually had a Title I position. I was a parent education coordinator, parent education trainer. So I did parenting classes and You know, I was the guy that if your kids weren't coming to school, I was out in the country. And that was before GPS.
Google Maps.
How many people remember MapQuest, where you typed in where you were going, you print your little sheet of paper, and so you're driving and trying to reach your MapQuest. And we had kids way out in the country where there were no signs, and it was just wow, it was crazy my first year. So I think that when I talk about how I got here in the 6th grade, I think everybody has a teacher in their life that just touches them. Thelma Brown, my 6th grade teacher, was that teacher. And just the way she loved me and showed concern for me. In my 6th grade year, I said, I'm going to be a principal when I grow up. Notice I didn't say a teacher. She touched me to the point where I said, I'm going to be a principal. What are you going to do, Mike, when you grow up? I'm going to be a principal. And that just goes with my mentality. If you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly, you know. So didn't want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a principal. And I just had some very good people in my life. You know, I taught school. Dr. Holland was the director or the assistant superintendent for human resources that just kind of, you know, believed in me, saw things in me, and just kind of pushed me. And so that's why I didn't stay in the principalship in the classroom very long, just because I had people around me that saw potential in me and knew that I had drive, because I've always been very, very driven. And I just had people that pushed me. So I got here early, and I've stayed here a long time. I've seen the job change tremendously over the years. But I love what I do. You know, it's my happy space. You know, this is a 3-day weekend, but it's Saturday, and I am actually in my office today. I'm only going to take care of a couple of things.
Yes.
I'm going to go back into the long weekend. So that's a little bit about me. Charles, tell me about your, I've seen your resume, and I've been on your website. Talk to us a little bit about how you came into the principalship.
You know, Mac, it's I always feel bad when I'm meeting with like up and coming teachers, and they are like, tell us your inspiring story, right? We want to be, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't want to be a teacher. And they're like, wait, what? It's like, no, this was not my first choice. But you know, I got into education through doing PR. Literally in the district where I was a student, I came back and was doing PR. And it kind of balanced out where I was doing a little bit of PR, a little English, and then it was more and more and more English. So I went back to school, right? And did that whole journey and became a teacher, became an ELA teacher. So I was an ELA teacher at a charter school. And my first year there, my AP gets sick. So that summer, you know, I remember my family and I were on a trip. We were doing a road trip out to the East Coast, like DC, Philly, all of that stuff. And I get a call because I had been serving as the interim, and they were like, hey, you know, she's not coming back. We want you as the AP. All right, cool. Right. I had been in the classroom for a few years. I was like, I'm ready to step up. I can be an AP. So I stepped up. I was an AP for a year. I went to China. And so I was in China through the Confucius Institute. So the Confucius Institute is this program that you bring fellows over from China and they teach your students Chinese, which was a phenomenal experience. So here I am in Gary, Indiana, you know, predominantly African-American group of students who know Chinese. I mean, we went to this Moon Festival. The speaker speaking in Chinese apparently says a joke. The kids at my table, they all start laughing. And I'm like, what's going on? Right.
Yeah.
But a great program. Well, anyway, I'm over there. And one morning my phone starts blowing up. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Well, the principal that I was under was resigning.
Oh.
And I called and I was like, what are you doing? This was not part of the plan. Like, I'm supposed to learn from you. I'm supposed to grow from you. And she's like, you've got this. I was like, no, I've been an AP for 1 year. Like, what do you? So I went for it. And I was really surprised, I'll be honest, when I got the call that says, no, we want you here. You know, I would love to say I walked in there with that confidence, like, yeah, I've got this. I was like, no. In fact, the real reason I pushed forward was that there was another AP. There were 3 of us at the school. And there was one there who was very self-fulfilling to the point of hurting the school and hurting others in order to get there. So she, I was like, look, I can't sit by, because if she gets it and I did nothing, I'm going to feel horrible. So that's why I really went for it. And, you know, what is it, 7 years later, you know, here I am just kind of doing this work. And like you said, you know, just falling in love with being able to curate and do all the amazing things that comes with being a principal.
So how'd you build your confidence? You say that you didn't have confidence when you first.
You know, I'll be honest, in the first year or two, that it was very minimal, right? I was definitely, there was a lot of fake it till you make it. Like I knew what to do in the classroom. I definitely knew what to do there, but it was stepping into that role of a leadership. I was like, wait a second, right? So I started, you know, just kind of surrounding myself with leaders and trying to find out like what makes a good leader, what can I adopt and kind of curate for myself. And it didn't really help. My first year, I was at the school where I was a teacher and an AP, and then my management company left the school. So they were like, all right, well, we're going to take you and put you over to this school. So I was a principal for 1 year in one school. Now I'm a principal in a brand new school. So now again, I'm trying to reestablish myself. We were there for a year, and now they were like, okay, now we need you over here at this school. So I was at 3 different schools for 3 years. So yeah. So on top of trying to kind of grow comfortable being a leader, I had to keep getting adjusted to new environments. So, you know, the school I'm at now, it's been 5 years. So now it's vastly different. I've been able to build that. But yeah, it was a rough start.
Yeah, that I cannot imagine, because I know the groundwork and just the building relationships that you have to do when you get in a new place. I can't imagine doing that 3 years in a row. And I cannot imagine the challenges that you have, because of course, when you are coming aboard, everyone on that staff is saying, I wonder how long he's going to stay here. So that's a huge challenge. In some of my mentoring that I do with aspiring administrators, that's one of the first things I equate our journey to a ladder, and I help leaders create a leadership ladder. And I always say that that's always the first rung. You know, we think pedagogy, you know, instructional practices, content, that there's so many things that we think is most important for an administrator. But I think that's why my ears perked up when you talked about confidence, because that's really the first rung of leadership, is being confident in the fact that you are the leader, you were selected for the job, having a vision. I think that's probably that is the most important characteristics that you have to have to be an effective leader, is just that confidence, knowing what you do well and what you don't, and being comfortable enough to let someone else take the lead in certain situations, and letting other people's voice enter. Leaders don't have to solve every problem. I burn out because when, you know, 21 years ago, I thought I had to have, you know, there's an invisible cape flowing in the wind, and every problem that came,
Absolutely.
You know. But one of the best things that I learned was asking things. This will help you keep your marriage too, if you ask these questions. How many years have you been married?
So this is coming up on year 4.
27
forever, but 4.
27 years in June. So this is going to help you at school, your marriage. And you ask, you know, what is my purpose for listening today? I mean, do you want me to just hear you, or do you want me to listen and give you suggestions as to how you can fix this and possible steps moving forward? So that's one of the best questions. I'm a leader that leads with questions, but that's the best question. You know, teacher comes in and I'm, you know, no, well, she just wants to vent. You know, she has a plan. She has it together. She's just mad right now. Sometimes
just let it out.
All they want to do is vent and know they have a leader that is supporting them. I don't have to go get I don't have to go get my cape pressed and run down the hallway. So yeah, that's important.
Yeah, I love that. You know, I'm curious. And I know these are going to be short conversations, but I do want to find out, because the fact that you were in a classroom for 3 years, jumping into it. So I'm curious about what that was like, and how you like me, all right? Obviously, I had those challenges. I was just curious because I'm sure that you had some of the same, and how you just overcame that. Confidence.
And I teach that because I was a victim of, on the outside, looking like the superhero, and being a male in an elementary school where, you know, I taught in elementary schools. So 25 years ago, 21 years ago, when I started my administrative career, there were not a lot of men in elementary schools. And then let's just be transparent and real. There were not a lot of African-American males in elementary schools. So my biggest issue was confidence, because I knew what people, I knew the expectations of everyone that was around me. So my biggest hurdle, and I don't think I'm answering your question, was how did I, tell me the question again?
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
If it was confidence after 3 years, I mean, that's what it was.
Oh, you're asking me what made me ready after 3 years?
Yeah, yeah. Or the obstacles that you had. I was just
Can I be
curious.
honest? I don't know if I was necessarily ready, because on this side of things, I've had to compensate, and I've had to find strategies for the fact that I was only in the classroom 3 years.
Right.
And that's what I didn't have, that confidence piece, because of course, when you are one of the youngest people on your staff and you don't know curriculum, and you don't, you know, you've not stayed there long enough to know what is really, truly effective. You've only taught one grade level. You've only taught one subject. When you take on that huge role of now being responsible for everything about a campus, it really does lead to a confidence issue. And at that time, I was not the transparent leader that I am now. It was, you know, let me throw this cape on, and you know that statement that we say, fake it till you make it. No, I faked it for too long. And then I realized, then I really realized, again, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. I wanted to really impact children's lives more than the 3 sections of 30 kids that I taught in 6th grade. And I knew that the assistant principalship and the principalship let me do that. So I really had to compensate with, there were a lot of experiences that I didn't have because I wasn't in the classroom. So what I had to learn to do, I got my first school. I was 26 years old when I was named the principal in Fort Worth, Texas. I did turn 27 before I actually started, but I was 26 when I was given the school. So in that first principalship, we became such a family. I still visit. I'm 13 years removed from that first assignment. I stayed there for 6 years. I've been here 13 years, but I learned so much there. And the biggest thing was being vulnerable again, and being transparent, and letting other people enter their voices into the situation. I knew my strengths, and I had to learn to leverage them so that my weaknesses wouldn't take us down. So I had to lean on an instructional specialist. I had to lean on teachers. I had to learn another important questions. What do you think? What do you think we should do?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I think one of the best things about this is the fact that, here we are, right? We're 2 experienced leaders, helping to get this inside the principal's office off the ground for other leaders all around the world. And, the reality is, I think the stories that we are sharing right now are the realities of many, many leaders. We see the great things. We see, the books and the stage and, the awards and all of those great things that come with being a leader for so long. But I would gamble that most of those leaders have very similar stories, that we all had to figure these things out in the beginning. So I'm happy to hear yours, because I'll be honest, just hearing yours and seeing all the amazing things that you've done, and I'm like, hey, okay, yeah, that makes me feel a little bit better, because we've walked very similar paths.
Yeah.
But, I think that is also, I don't know how, right? This was just supposed to be a conversation between us, but it's almost like, I don't know, like lessons in leadership.
Yeah. Love it. And I'm going to tell you, Charles, that is what makes me so excited to be a part of School Rubric and to be a part of something like Inside the Principal's Office. Is my desire is to impact kids. The more kids, the better. And I believe truly that students learn more when teachers learn more. And if students learn more when teachers learn more, that means that teachers are going to learn more when principals learn more and when we're more open to growing. And so that's what excites me about this great opportunity that we've been given. After 21 years in this, I don't want people to have to make their own mistakes. Learn from my mistakes. I can learn from yours. I think that we all have to have a sense of urgency, and I think that most good principals do have a sense of urgency because we know that it's all about student outcomes.
Right.
So I think building a community where we can learn from each other. We all have very similar experiences. So why can't we just create a space where we can talk to each other? And I don't have to make some of the mistakes that you made. Surely, I've 21 years. I've made tons of them. There's tons of lessons that you can learn from Mr. Pack. So I am an open book to share.
Well, I appreciate you having this conversation with me this morning. And for anybody watching, don't forget that this is just an interlude, a little bit of conversation between us before we come back again, which just so happens to be next week, Saturday. So we're going to be chatting with some educational leaders. There was an amazing article, and we're going to be following up on that article, diving a little bit deeper in. And so we have Dr. Robert Thornell, we have Dr. Daniel Westman, and we're going to be talking about the lessons in leadership that we have gained and curated from 2020. So we hope that you're able to join us. That is next week, Saturday, the 10th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We hope that you can join us.
It is going to be a robust dialogue and conversation. So yeah, join us. It's going to be a time of great learning. These are great men that we're going to learn from. And I'm going to learn from Charles.
And me from you, Mac.
Charles, you know what? This is unscripted. And you know what I thought would be fun that we could do before closing?
What's that? Let's
have this speed round. Oh. You probably don't have any questions formulated, so you're the only one that gets to do it today. Hey, because we're learning more about each other.
Sure.
When you come to Texas, these are some things that I might need to know. Favorite food?
Tacos. They're versatile.
If you could take a vacation, where would you go?
Ooh, I don't know if there's a specific place, but if it's tropical, warm, beaches, I'm there.
Favorite color?
Favorite color? Green.
Favorite book?
Favorite book? I don't know if I have a favorite book, but you know what? I'm going to go with The Giver, Lois Lowry.
If money was not an option, what would you do?
Take care of all of our debts and make sure that my kids don't have to worry about their financial future.
Like all of ours, like mine too?
Sure, why not? I mean, if it's no question, right?
Favorite sport?
Baseball. By far, baseball. You don't...
Oh, yeah, I see that. I saw the cracked bat a little earlier today.
Yeah, that's a Javier Baez bat.
Has to be a story behind that one. Yeah. Okay, that's all the speed round I had. You did great. I think you passed.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mike. And I'll have some questions ready for you next time.
Cool.
All right. Have a great Saturday.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching School Rubric on YouTube. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe in order to stay looped in on all of our diverse collection of shows, interviews, panels, tutorials, and more from educators around the globe. And visit us at schoolrubric.com for even more great content, such as our online articles, Interact magazine, featured podcasts, and more. Thank you.